11 minutes ago. Ukraine is trouble. Russia is launch a new offensive in Kherson. Ukraine admits that it is under great pressure on the Eastern Front and is forced to give up some territories here before the attack of the Russian army. Ukrainian President Volodymyr this week described the war in the Donbass region of eastern Ukraine as fierce as hell. He said fighting was raging around the town of Avdiivka and the village of Pisky, in the Donetsk region, where Kiev acknowledged the Russian advance had been partially successful in recent days. Ukraine's military said on August 4 that Russian forces had carried out at least 2 attacks on Pisky. Ukraine has spent the past 8 years beefing up its defenses in Pisky, seeing it as a buffer against pro-Russian separatists who control the city some 10 kilometers southeast. General Oleksiy Romov said Ukrainian troops had recaptured 2 villages around the city of Sloviansk, but were pushed back in Avdiivka after being forced to give up a coal mine that was seen as a key defensive position. Ukrainian officials say that Russia appears to be stepping up its offensive in the east to prevent Kiev from concentrating its forces on a counteroffensive in the south. The intention of Russia is to put military pressure on our forces in Kharkov, Donetsk, Lugansk in the coming weeks. What is happening in the east will not determine the outcome of the war, he said. Advisor Oleksiy of the President of Ukraine commented. Earlier, on August 2, President Zelensky admitted that, despite Western aid, Ukraine has not been able to break Russia's superiority in troops and firepower. With the aid weapons, we have not been able to break the advantage of the Russian army in terms of artillery and manpower, and this was very much shown in the skirmishes, especially in the Donbass, Pisky, Avdiivka, and many other directions. The situation is very difficult, even I cannot describe it in words, Mr. Zelensky said. On the same day, Yuri Butusov, a war correspondent of Ukraine, said fierce fighting occurred in these 2 towns over the past week. Russian forces fired 6,500 shells into each village in less than 24 hours. It's been like this for 6 days. It's unbelievable that our infantry is still alive after battles like this. According to Butusov, the Ukrainian army is holding the line but without additional weapons. Heavy weapons, no fighter jets, more Ukrainian soldiers would die. Meanwhile, the southern front was also increasingly fierce when Ukraine launched a counteroffensive campaign to regain lost territory, especially Kherson. According to Reuters, General Gromov believes that Russia will launch a new offensive in Kherson to regain the momentum it has built earlier. Ukraine started strong counterattacks in Kherson after receiving aid from the US HIMARS multiple rocket launchers. In recent weeks, Kiev has focused on shelling 3 strategic bridges in Kherson with the aim of destroying Russia's supply lines. However, some experts say that attacking the bridges in Kherson may bring immediate benefits to Kiev, but in terms of strategy, it is difficult for the Ukrainian military to achieve its goals. At some point in the future, if they want to regain control of Kherson, Ukrainian troops and military vehicles must get into the city, said Glenn Grant, a senior analyst at the Baltic Security Foundation.